Here is my family's 1966 Ford Mustang. Been sitting in the garage, golly, probably over 10 years. And prior to that, it was sitting outside for God knows how long, maybe 15 years. So we got a lot of rust damage. And I know, very, very bad. We're very bad people for letting this beautiful car, beautiful piece of Americana sit out in the elements. But I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna fix her up. And the goal is to get this car across the country while pulling my Gizmo. And first things first, when we were pulling it into the garage, thanks to my buddy Ryan who helped me pull it, this wheel right here was seized up when it moved, so I had to put the wheel on a little dolly, or a little cradle. Actually, right there it is, a little cradle, and we rolled it into the garage. So I actually was trying to bang the drum off. Of course, that didn't work, so I ended up cutting the drum, as you see right there. And there is the inner diameter of the drum where the lug studs come through. And then I was able to get to the adjuster, and luckily the adjuster finally broke free. I had to use a chisel and a hammer to break the adjuster loose, and then it got the drum pads loose enough I could break them free, take them off, and now we're here. Thank you, Lord. The wheel can move, the axle can move, so that's a good sign. We can roll this thing, but right now I'm assessing damage of how bad the rust is, and luckily I can get all these parts online, and I have a welder, a TIG welder, so I can do that. And that's the kicker. If you don't have a welder, then resto mods or restoration projects are tough, because then you gotta pay someone else and they're gonna put you over the coals. So I'm looking at stuff. Look at the bench Mustang, and the seats are pretty torn up. The floor pan is toast. I'm probably gonna have to, I might just cut out, just do the whole floor pan. They sell a whole kit where you can put a new pan in. So I'll probably, the goal is take out all the seats. And here is the back seat, which is where this is a mouse hotel. I was watching Haggerty on YouTube. It's a automotive barn find hunter channel where they find old classics, and the guy usually finds mouse encampments in cars, and he always makes jokes about, oh, it's a mouse hotel in here. That's exactly what's going on right here. So we're gonna clean that up. Get these seats out of here. Sawzall. I might go get a plasma cutter and cut this out. Still debating. I'll probably get a plasma cutter. I'm debating about getting a nice one or just go to Harbor Freight and just get a cheap one, because I've seen some people had some great luck with the cheap ones. But here is the inside. Pretty rough. I had to cut all that out. Weld in new stuff. I might keep the dash and all that stuff original. Steering wheel, I'm gonna keep that original. Cause my grandfather and actually, it's a little history behind the car. It's my grandfather's car. He bought it straight from the factory in Ohio. So this should be a Cleveland 289 coupe. So this is my grandfather's car, grandmother's car, and then my mom used it. And then actually it got stolen at one point, and then we got it back. And then my family gave it to my father's family, so my uncle could use while he's going to school. And then my grandfather on my dad's side gave it back to us. My mom, who is the original, my mom's side of the family is the original owner of this Mustang, gave it back to us. So now it's in my hands, and I'm gonna do everything I can to take care of this car, because I love this thing. And here is the engine. It's a 2-barrel 289. Got some spark wires, or spark plug wires right there. I got the carburetor in the house. I need to rebuild it. Everything's original. Everything looks pretty good here. I might need to do some welding around here in these fender areas and all that. And the goal is to I want to convert this thing to a 5-speed. Get a T5 transmission out of a Fox body Mustang and put it in here, because I think right now this is a 3-speed, and I really do not want to drive a 3-speed. across the country. That would be annoying because the car would be revving so high while I'm driving. So if I can get a T5, then I can put it in high gear and not have to hear the engine, hear that big old 289 or small block. I shouldn't say it's that big. It's a small block V8, but it's a V8, and I don't want to hear that V8 just purring the whole time. So it'd be nice to put in the fifth gear and just let it, or fifth gear overdrive, and just let it cruise. That'd be nice. So that's the goal. Here it is. It's been a long project, and I got little odds and ends, but really the frame underneath the car, there's a lot of spots. I think and this is a unibody car, so all the frame points I'm pretty much gonna have to redo because they're not looking good. So it's gonna be a big job, but it's gonna be worth it. The car has a cool story behind it. It's a family car, so there you go. And actually, this is my grandmother has her sticker from when she went to college, Lynchburg. There it is. Let's see, 78 and 79. Lynchburg supporter. So if any Lynchburg alumni or Lynchburg students should get excited, it's a Lynchburg car. So here we go. Ford Mustang. The 1966 Ford Mustang Day 2 project continues, and I ended the night yesterday or this morning. I think I ended this morning. It was around like 12 o'clock in the morning. But I ended getting the seats out, which I've been dreading because I was worried there would be a ton of bolts that were rusted. It'd be a pain in the butt to get to, but really it was pretty easy. I just ended up cutting the retaining part of this pan. There's like a double pan on here, so I just cut that open. I was able to get to the screws, took them out, easy peasy. 4 screws, that's it. I was super worried it'd be way more, rusted to complete shit, none of that. And thank God this is a 66, because if this was a new car, I mean, I could imagine all the wires you gotta take out. I mean, they probably have emission controls on your seat. You know, you fart, they probably have emission controls on that, because they don't want to kill the ozone with all the methane going on. So thank God this is 66, super easy. And now the plan is to cut this pan out, not interfere with the frame rails. It's a unibody car, so the frame rails, there's 4 junctions, I believe. One over there, one here, and back here. And I want to make sure I avoid all that so I don't mess up the integrity of the frame. And I'm gonna probably put a frame support on both sides, so it makes the car a complete, complete frame. So that'd be nice. And I'm gonna get to it. So the goal is to cut this pan out and then assess more damage, because there's water and moisture likes to get in places that is obvious to see, and also places that you cannot see without digging deep. So I'm gonna dig deep. And also, I opened the glove and I found a mouse hotel, and that was nice. Luckily there's no mice in there, but we'll clean that out, and this will be a enjoyable car soon. One take. I'm gonna give this a go. I got this brand new cool computer. Sorry, laptop. Well, I said computer. That kind of means both PC and laptop. Anyway, let's get right to it. I can see the video playing in the corner of the screen. I'm gonna try to see. All right, we're good. This is my first time doing this. I've never edited videos on this scale, and this is really cool. I'm doing this voiceover because my GoPro failed to record me while sawzawing the floor pans of the Mustang. So you're just gonna have to hear me talk about me explaining what I'm doing. So right now I'm putting some gloves on them, because gloves are important. And the goal is we're just trying to get a little piece of the floor pan out. We have a corded sawzall, so for maximum power. And this is the infant stages of
the restoration, the second day actually. Um, I didn't know a whole lot at this point. I have had experience with the Sawzall. Um, Later I'd figure out that the cutting wheel, whiz wheel, angle grinder is the best cutting besides a selling torch, a plasma cutter. Third is the angle grinder. That thing is the bomb. And then after that, the die grinder. That thing is a lifesaver. You can get into any crevice, nook and cranny. The die grinder is awesome. Now here I'm starting to cut, just getting used to cutting this rotted out BS four pan. Taking my time. That's a key. Key with cutting. Take your time, especially if you're unfamiliar with what you're cutting into. You don't want to start getting crazy, excited, because it'll cut through stuff you shouldn't be cutting through. Hey, years ago, we were installing, what was it, uh, projector with a screen on the wall, and the wall was also sharing a hallway. So cutting all the way through it, you would end up in the hallway. And they wanted speakers on the wall. And they had like a pre-made speaker mounting apparatus already in the wall. But the speakers that we were installing didn't need it. So we had to cut all this stuff out. And the guy I was working with at the time went wild with the Sawzall. And instead of taking his time and uh, being careful cutting, he went through the other side of the wall. So he caused a whole new problem. So just be careful when you're cutting. Look before you leap. So here, still just trying to figure out how I want to go about this because I was unaware of how bad the rust was. I knew it was bad, but I wanted to save as much as possible. And if you can save things, save it because how the factory built the car will help you when you replace things. Like for instance, when I cut this floor pan out, I kept the lip or the flange where the floor pan mounted to the side of the rocker panel frame, and what else? The drive shaft transmission tunnel. If you can leave yourself clues of where things were initially, it's going to save you so much time. I'm not sure what I'm doing right here. And when my editing software here transitioned, it kind of messed up my audio. So hopefully it sounds good. Where it messed up, we'll find out here shortly. Now this is the rear passenger part of the floor pan, and there's a seat riser that's also attached to the floor pan. My right hand is on it right now. The lighting is awful. I didn't have the best lighting situation at the time. I don't remember why I or took this break. Hopping out. Maybe my cat was nearby or the dog. Who knows? When the pets come by, you gotta take a break and go pet them. Or maybe doing my due diligence and looking before I leap or looking before I cut. Also, keep in mind you got brake lines, you got your emergency brake lines, gas lines. If you want to keep them, just know where they are. Luckily, a sawzall is a little bit more. It's a rougher cut, so you'll know when you get hung up on something. Angle grinder, oh man, you'll blow right through it. Now, looks like I'm going on the edge of the seat riser. And that is just spot welded right to the floor pan. And you have, what is it, the access holes in the floor pan so you can put the nuts on the seat studs. So you do, when you put the seat riser back on, you do want to make sure that's all lined up. And the tricky part with cars like the Mustang, unibody, up in the driver and passenger halves of the car, the frame rails do come out under your feet. So when you're cutting, you want to be careful not to hit them. And see right here, I'm cutting right along the flange of the seat riser. Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, the tripod was attached to the door. Cool. I missed that tripod before it broke. Yep, pulling the seat riser out. And what I was saying was I left the flange of that seat riser along the transmission tunnel. So when I put the new seat riser in, I have somewhere for reference. You just, oh boy, oh my god, see in the garage. I don't know how I did it. I had practically zero space. The house and the garage where this Mustang was stored was the house that my grandparents built. So many generations used the house, and of course the garage. The garage is always the spot where things just collect. So I pretty much just pushed stuff out of the way and worked with what I got. And always make sure your power cable is out of the way because if you cut through that, luckily I got my rubber gloves, but we don't want to get electric. No, not electrocuted. Electrocuted is when you actually die, shocked. But you could see here. Oh yeah, that's where I push it through. Now that edge that I'm cutting along, the rocker panel shares that part of the frame. And if you can keep the flange of the original floor pan, like I've been saying, it will save you so much time. And the sawzall was good. And if you have to go to a junkyard, sawzalls are approved. Cutting wheels, no. Torches, no. Maybe some junkyards. The one that I go to now, I'm in a forest, or it's in a forest. and sparks cause forest fires, especially right now. We have a serious drought, but sawzalls are approved. Just cutting it out, pushing it out, and PPE, very important. Gloves, mask, safety glasses. I think we're done. All right, let's wrap this up. That was one take. Pretty cool. All right, let's see.